The Highway Code is the index of all the rules of the road for pedestrians, cyclists, motorcyclists, and of course motorists. It's probably one of the most important books ever published. It's also 135 pages long, and it can send the reader into a fucking coma. They say that everyone should read their copy of these once every few years or so, but come on man, we've all got fucking lives to lead. Couldn't they at least put out like a cut down version? Or hell, maybe a series of flashcards? Rule 1. Don't hit pedestrians with your car. Rule 2. Obey the speed limit and shit. Rule 3. Don't drive outside the lines and on the correct side of the road depending on what country you're in. Rule 4. Obey the road signs that you see. Rule 5. That's pretty much it. Seriously, they should hire me as an editor for everything. I would get people working to maximum efficiency. Hi, how are you? Okay, let me stop you there. You don't really need to know how the other person is, and they usually just say, I'm good thanks, how are you? No matter whether they actually feel like shit or not, because it's supposed to be impolite to burden other people with your problems. Okay, try again. Hi. Hi. Bye. Perfect, 10 out of 10. Okay, let's start with rules for pedestrians. The Green Cross Code takes up a fucking page and a half. Given the internet has killed everyone's attention spans, there is no way that you would get away with taking that long to explain to a kid how to do that thing called crossing a road. And I say kid here because if you're supposed to reread this thing all the time, you'd have to be pretty fucking stupid if you've forgotten how to cross a road because it's been more than a year since you last read your highway code. If traffic is coming, let it pass. Do not cross until there is a safe gap in traffic and you are certain there is plenty of time. Hey kids, you know those massive blocks of metal that people drive down roads? Well, here's a hint. Don't step in front of one or you will die. That's pretty much it. That's how you cross a road. Avoid death. Anyway, getting on to drivers, there's hundreds of rules in this thing, and some of them are really fucking superfluous, as when you're actually out there on the roads, it's totally self-explanatory. 171. You must stop behind the line at a junction with a stop sign. No, really? 144. You must not drive dangerously. So do not ram other people's cars off the road. Right, got it. You must not drive without due care and attention. See above. Or without reasonable consideration for other road users. See above. 105. You must obey all signals given by police officers, traffic wardens, and signs used by school crossing patrols. Do not obey police officers. See, it's very important. And oh wait, it's do obey police officers. Do. Sorry, this is really confusing, isn't it? 100. The driver must ensure that all children under 14 years of age in cars, vans and other goods vehicles must wear seatbelts or sit in an approved child restraint where required. Right. See, I always thought you were supposed to use children as blunt objects to smash your windscreen open to get out in case of a fire. 184. On approaching a roundabout, decide as early as possible which exit you need to take. Give an appropriate signal, get into the correct lane, adjust your speed and position to fit in with traffic conditions, and be aware of the speed and position of all road users around you. Okay, in short, basically, you know those circly things? Okay. Pay attention when you're driving round them. 187. In all cases... the text is in bold, very important here. Watch out for and give plenty of room to pedestrians who may be crossing the approach and exit road, traffic crossing in front of you on the roundabout, traffic which may be straddling lanes or positioned incorrectly. Okay, again, basically... try not to hit anyone. 172. If the approach to a junction has a give way sign or a triangle marked on the road, you must give way to traffic on the main road when emerging from that junction. But why must I give way to them? What have they done to earn that right of way? Fucking main road users. Self-important twats. 124. You must not exceed the maximum speed limits for the road and for your vehicle. Hence they are called speed limits. 151. In slow-moving traffic, you should never get so close to the vehicle in front that you cannot stop safely. Okay, if you're doing that, you shouldn't be driving in the first place. How would you pass your driving test if you got no spatial awareness? 162. Overtaking. Before overtaking, you should make sure 1. The road is sufficiently clear ahead. 2. Road users are not beginning to overtake you. 3. There is a suitable gap in front of the road user that you plan to overtake. Okay, wasn't 3 sufficiently covered by 1? And again, how did you pass your driving test if you got no spatial awareness? Shouldn't this rule just read, when you are overtaking, look at the space you want to occupy with your eyes. Is there a car there? A, yes. B, no. If B, then begin overtaking if it is safe to do so. Can't the people that wrote this assume that we understand that we cannot physically occupy a space that something else is occupying? Oh yeah, and road signs are fucking dog shit as well. Like, okay, the red ones are supposed to be giving instructions, and it says mostly prohibitive. Mostly, right? You got no right turn, okay, fine, right turn with a big red cross through it, when this here apparently means no cycling. This could easily be interpreted as yes cycling. Would it be so hard to just put a red cross through it? I suppose they're concerned that people wouldn't be able to see the bike properly, but here, just fucking put a red line through it, implying no bikes. Like, is this just done to save money on printing clear instructions on road signs? I thought these things were supposed to be important and, like, save lives. Are road signs more expensive than people? Actually, given there are people who hold up signs advertising golf sales and special offers on dominoes... answered my own question, I guess. But then the next page, suddenly the same sign but in a triangle is warning you that there will be cyclists ahead. Like, just fucking, is this image yes or no? Apparently a triangle is yes and a circle is no. Like, do the writers of this book have a pro-triangle, anti-circle bias or something? Tunnel ahead. Tunnel ahead. Roundabout. Oh yeah, those fucking circly things that are everywhere. Right, got it. No vehicles. I like how they've actually had to write no vehicles underneath it because the sign wasn't clear enough, which kind of defeats the purpose of it being a fucking sign. Wild animals. Wild horses or ponies. Accompanied horses or ponies. Cattle. Tortoises. Tadpoles. Duck-billed platypuses. Is it platypuses or platypus? I don't fucking know. Okay, look, while it takes a while to get to grips with, like riding a bike, and driving is very fucking dangerous and something to take very seriously, people make it sound much more difficult than it actually is. Okay, to demonstrate, I will now teach you how to drive in about 3 minutes. Okay, so this thingy here is called the gear stick. When you're just starting out, okay, you gotta have the clutch down when you're changing gears. If you're in an automatic, you don't have to do that. Okay, when you're just starting out, you put it into first. Okay, and when you reach like 20 miles an hour, you put it down into second. Okay, when you reach like 30 miles an hour, you put it into third. And see, it goes in like a zigzag, and then into fourth when you're about 40 miles an hour, and then fifth is like 50 miles an hour or anything over that. Oh yeah, and don't keep your foot on the clutch while you're driving because that's dangerous apparently. See, that's the clutch, it goes all the way down like that. That's the accelerator and that's the brake. Use this foot on the accelerator and the brake and this foot on the clutch. And when you're using the brake, you push it slowly down just before you need to and go down the gears. Oh, and don't slam on it or the car will go a bit weird. And when you want to go into backwards gear, usually there's like a little trigger thing you have to pull and they make it a bit more stiffer than most gears so you don't accidentally go into it while driving. And when you're going backwards, use mirrors lots and like look behind you lots to see where you're going. Okay, this thingy here is called a steering wheel. Turn it that way, goes that way. Turn it that way, goes that way. And this thingy here, pay attention to this is very important. This is called an indicator. And when you pull it like that, it makes a little flashy light go off on either side of the car so people know which direction you're going in. And the best thing about them is, because they're right next to the steering wheel, you can, like, just flick them on, off, on, off. Do you get it yet? Indicators. Use them. Anyway, when you're first starting out, seatbelt on, check your mirrors, okay? Turn the key on, put your foot on the clutch, put into first gear, right, and pull the clutch up until, see, you can hear that? That's the biting point, okay? That's when the engine feels all buzzy. Anyway, so put the handbrake down, look at the road while you're doing this, and lightly put your foot on the accelerator as you're going and pulling up the clutch, and you're off. This stick here does the windscreen wipers, see? And you can control the speed of them as well. That's the fuel cap. Make sure you put the right type of petrol in it. It's usually written on the inside of the cap, but if it isn't, just look in your manual or something. Most of them use unleaded. There's a little bar under it which positions the seat. This little control pad thingy here positions the mirrors. And here's basically all the rules of the road shit that comes up all the time in a couple of slides. Hell, I could pretty much trim all you need to know about driving down to one word. Practice. There you go, job done.